Bitcoin could reach $130,000 in the next few days. And I'm going to explain why. This and more news in today's video. Let's jump right into it. So it's finally here, $118,000 per a single Bitcoin. And that is amazing to hear. I made a YouTube shorts a year and a half, 2 years ago, talking about Bitcoin if it was ever gonna go above $100,000. And on that YouTube shorts comments, a lot of people were saying, that's crazy. That is ridiculous that you think $100,000, even $1 million could be a possibility. And here we are again at $118,000, a new all-time high for Bitcoin. And I think we are approaching fast the $130,000 mark. That being said, there is a reasoning behind that, and I've talked about it in another video, maybe a month and a half ago, I'm not sure, but I'm gonna talk about it again. But before we do that, let's take a look at the charts. Let's take a look at the current situation for our cryptocurrencies. So jumping right now to CoinMarketCap, Bitcoin up 8%, Ethereum up 16%, XRP at 1795, BNB at 422, Solana 855% increase. When the prices are 117,000, almost 3,000 for Ethereum, that is crazy to think. 263 for XRP, 687 for BNB, 163 for Solana. So Solana is still far away from the all-time highs, which was around $300, almost $400 for Solana, if I'm not mistaken. So out of these, Solana and Ethereum are the one who hurt the most, because Ethereum, as we know, was above the $4,000 at one point last year, I think around November, more or less. And now we're a little over a half than that amount. And as I said, Solana was above 300 for quite a while, and now we are at 163. So those are hurting. XRP is doing fantastic. BNB also doing fantastic. And no one talks about BNB that much, honestly. So we have to keep an eye on all of these. So looking right here, we can take a look at the dailies. Again, I apologize for last video. Someone even commented that I had the webcam on top of the chart. If you watch all the videos, you know that I usually just drag this to the left a little bit so everyone can see. But for that video, I kind of forgot about it. But today, and I'm not going to make the same mistake. So we already broke out of the Bollinger, but we still have momentum because we're not on the top of the oversold. We've seen 77 in the RSI right here. We're currently at 73.49. So there's still some margin to go if we compare that to the last hype that we saw, which was May 23rd. So we could still be seeing 120 between today and tomorrow here for Bitcoin. If we look at Ethereum, Ethereum finally broke out of this situation right here where we were trapped around the 2,700, 2,800, and now we broke above it. We even went to the 3,000s last night. It was night for me, but we did that. And now we have to hope that this 200 moving average becomes the support that we are looking for and we are hoping for. For Solana, last but not least, we are now facing the 200 moving average and we're coming from the bottom. So we're coming from the bottom, hitting it as a resistance, hoping that we can break that. If we do, you see right here, we tried and we were not able to. Here we tried as well. And now if you're able to break out of it, this also becomes a support for us and a very strong one. So Everton, why do you say that you know that Bitcoin could go even higher? Because as we talked about, there's something called global liquidity, which is the total wealth globally, and that tends to go up. And when it does, usually Bitcoin follows with a little bit of a skew, a delay. So usually around 10 weeks, so approximately 3 months more or less in skew, so in divergence from the global liquidity. And I can prove that to you because we have a chart right here. So looking at the chart, you can see exactly what I'm talking about right here. So in pink/red, we have the global supply, and we have below that in white the Bitcoin price. So you can see whenever the global supply goes up, Bitcoin price goes up as well. And there's a little bit of a delay. So you see this range exactly right here. We can actually zoom. So exactly where my mouse is right now, we can see that it happened before on the global supply. And then we had Bitcoin doing the same thing with few days, almost 3 months from that time. So right here from mid of September all the way to mid of December. So this is the 10-week skew that I was talking about. Still same thing right here, March 16th. So mid of March was the top for this, and we're still at July 16th. So we still don't have all the data, but now we are at 118. So $118,000 here for Bitcoin price. So you see the skew is around 3 months more or less ish from whenever global supply reaches new highs, and then 3 months later it affects Bitcoin. So this is going up and it isn't stopping. So most likely if the global supply keeps going up, then we should be seeing Bitcoin doing the same thing and going up as well as the global supply. So does it mean that it follow one-to-one? No, it is just directional. So when we see that direction going up, expect Bitcoin to perform well. And then after it is starting to slow down, then we could probably see a trickle down to an alt season. So Bitcoin goes up, slows down, and all the liquidity flows to altcoins, which then start to pick up. Usually this is how it goes. We have Bitcoin season, then we have a little bit of a timeout between them, and then we have altcoin season happening after the Bitcoin season. So this is what we have to keep an eye on. And again, I got prepared. So yesterday I closed my leaps. We can actually take a look at that. So right here, you can see I closed the $70,000 call and the 2,800 call. I should have kept that call because I could have closed that at least a 50%. I didn't know, but I closed it, and then we saw that huge rally. When I closed this, you can see I closed for a 61% loss. And you want to say, well, you lost money. No, because I made $2,000, $2,200 here on this leap. So I made over 124% here on this leap. And now I'm just waiting for Bitcoin to stop going the direction that it's going. It's going to have a little correction as per usual. So when it rallies a lot, usually it pulls back a little bit. This is the time when I can buy leaps at the money, maybe $100,000 strike for next year. So 2026, this is when I want to go in with these. So you can see that I already opened a leap. Now, again, not an Ethereum believer, but something is telling me that Ethereum will look at $4,000 once again, and it doesn't mean that I'm gonna hold it. It doesn't mean that I want to hold Ethereum, but I bought a 2,400 leap for next year. I'm not gonna hold it all the way to next year, but just have it for precaution. And it is already 5% in the green, so that is good for me. And I also sold a spread here, 2,800, 27.25. So these are my positions. Hopefully you guys are making money as well as I am. Unfortunately, we had a little bit of a red day for the copy trading, but again, red days, green days, they tend to go one after the other. So we should be seeing a green day very, very soon. But what do you think about the global supply and Bitcoin correlation? Do you think that's right? Do you trust that? For me, that is a very strong indicator that we have still lots to go, at least for $130,000. Some people shoot for 170, some people shoot for 225, which is a number that we saw a lot back in the day before even Trump got elected. There was a number that was thrown out a lot, 225, 250, but at least 130, I think that is doable and achievable for us in the short term. So hopefully we're right and we make profit. That being said, thank you so much for watching. Hope you guys have an amazing end of the week, and I'll see you guys on Monday for another video, always here on the topics. Thank you. Take care.